Okay, today I'm going to try to install a new dash cover on a 99 Dodge Ram. As you can see, mine is cracked. First thing you got to do is, of course, move this, and it has clips that just pop off. So that's where we're going to start, and then take the glove box loose. So let me get those off and we'll continue. Alright, now if we've got this pulled loose, as you can go around and see, there's several screws on the front. We're going to take all of those loose, and then we'll get over to the airbag and see what needs to be done there. I've already took the negative cable loose on the battery. So let me get the screws out and we'll continue. Okay, you also had screws up in here in these holes, and that's the screw. It's an 8mm. I just used a long thing on my drill with 8mm socket and pulled them right out. And then you also on the side you've got two, one on each side, driver and passenger. The only thing I could get on them was a wrench, and that's a 7mm. You know, take them loose as well. Okay, now I'm gonna start on the airbag. I do know these three screws here are 10mm, and they have to come out. I believe there's gonna be two more up in here. So let me get these first three loose and see where we're at. Okay, we're back on the airbag. For one, you got to remove this, which, you know, was a latch for the glove box. And of course, you had the three big screws out here on the front. You have the small screws on each side. There's two here, two on the other side, and then up underneath of course you had there was two more big screws back here, the same as what was on the front. And if you reach back up in here, you'll see a yellow plug that you have to disconnect, and that's the plug for the airbag. Now, I was having problems trying to see how it came out, but I just took a screwdriver, kind of pried in here, because this cover didn't want to release. And if you look, there's, I think, 3 little tabs that just popped into the dash cover. And you just had to kind of pry on it a little bit to get that to release. And then once you get that, this whole thing is loose, and the whole airbag will come out. So it took me a little while to figure out. I hope that helps you. Okay, now you've got, there's several screws around the trim of this and down here. Remove those. And now I've got most of the dash loose. I'm going to start removing it. I actually ended up breaking this top part just trying to see back in there if I was missing anything on the airbag, but unfortunately I didn't need to do that, but that's okay too. So yeah, just start taking your old dash out. Okay, I've about got all my dash out, and of course, as you can tell, it's easier to just break it into pieces. You're gonna have some screws on the back side of these vents. What I found was breaking the front off and then just holding the screw with the back side and spinning the plastic off, and then take out the screw. And if you need to, you can take a 7mm wrench, put it on the back side and hold the screw. I think there's maybe a couple different dash covers. I think the one I have, you know, it's supposed to be OEM, but I don't believe it requires these screws to go back in. I think it just sits over top of this, but we'll see when we get to that part. Okay, I about got my dash ready to install. Now there was, depending on what kind you have, there was two little vent tubes. One on this corner, one on the passenger side corner. Now the type of cover I got, as you take those two off, and there's a screw that goes back in. There's one screw on the passenger side, and the driver's side has a screw here and a screw here. So you put both these vents, attach it to this, and then there's a rubber gasket that I took off the old one that just took sticky back tape, double back tape to install the gasket on both sides. Now, it looks like my unit does not require you to screw the vents back to these center air ducts. I think there's some, I mean this is an OEM, but I think there is some OEM that maybe have you attach screws back in these the way it came out. Now somebody I'd read that said it was easier to take the whole ductwork, attach it to the whole unit, set it in there, and then I think there's like 3 screws to attach the whole ductwork back to the truck. But now for this type, all I've got to do is set this in place and pop these 2 ducts back into the original ductwork. So that's where I am now. Okay, I'm back. I've got the dash in there. Now I will say the hardest part was attaching those 2 pieces of duct. And actually the worst one was here on this driver's side. What I found was to leave the passenger side kind of out just a little bit, kind of up in the air, and then you just have to reach your hand through here. Now I took the headlight switch out too to try to reach in there. It took me several attempts to get this one, but I finally got that ductwork in. And then the passenger side wasn't as bad because I could reach in around the airbag and underneath the dash cover itself. Once I got those in, you know, it seemed like it's sliding right in. You just got to put our main 5 screws in the top. Now, I think it only applies to the Dodge Sport. Now, I didn't go into that, but on mine, the VIN is attached to my dash. So I had to drill out the rivets, and then I just re-riveted back in the same exact spot, and I took my old one and lined it up to where it needed to be and just riveted it back in. So now I'm just going to put the main screws in and then start putting the small screws in the front. Okay, now I've got everything back together. I guess that's basically it. Except if you have any questions, feel free to message me there. I'll answer them best I can. But I mean, yeah, it turned out good. Definitely a lot better than what we had. And there it is. Thank you. Hope this helps.